So we're currently only a handful of days away until the One Piece live action graces us all with its presence on Netflix. And I just want to talk about what I'm excited about and concerns, if any, because there's a couple, but there's not a lot of them. As well as look at some of the kind of first opinions of the critic reviews, because there's been a handful of them that have come out, and I found an article that compiled all of them into like the little paragraphs, and we're just going to take a quick look at that too. So let's One Piece. So the first thing I want to talk about is the casting. And this has been a weird topic of discussion, but we all seem to be on the positive side of it, and I think that that's a good thing. You know what I mean? Because I think they did overall a very good job. I mean, starting off with just the Straw Hats in general, I mean, Iñaki Godoy was a great pick. His passion for it and all the videos that I've seen and all the Netflix stuff that's going on YouTube has been through the roof. And I mean, I think he plays that like joy, the cheerfulness, the playfulness, the I'm ready to go. Let's just get it done. Luffy vibe, very like good. Nami's actress Emily Rudd, I think, was a really good pick too. I mean, I think they gave her some kind of wig, but her natural hair color, I think, is like a lighter orange, I think, like a lighter ginger. This is the photo that I saw. This photo of her, you could have left her that hair color that way and I would have been happy, but I'm okay with what they did with the design. You know what I mean? That's totally fine. They tried to stay as true as they could to the character designs, and I'm okay with that. Shout out Third Eye Blind. We've talked about this really briefly, but like the scene during the East Blue when she's like clawing at her tattoo and stuff like that, I'm very, very excited to see that in live action. So that's going to be the selling point for me with her, but so far I'm sold anyways, so we're good. On to the next one. Zoro Makenyu. Dude, this guy, I'm interested to see what happens, because early Zoro was a lot more like laughy and outgoing and fun and was making jokes and stuff like that. And then there was a point where he transitioned into like what we see now, where he's a lot more serious. The drinking hasn't really changed much. And he's always in this kind of I'm there for Luffy support thing. I think if you're fans of One Piece, I think we all know when that transition happened. From what we've seen, he seems to have that serious Zoro out of the gate instead of a little bit more relaxed early One Piece Zoro. So I'm interested to see if they somehow maintained that or if they just went full force into what everyone sees him as now. And he has a swordsmanship background. He has a lot of background with katana work and stuff like that. So they talked about that in the behind the scenes trailer. We'll see what happens. I'm excited. I really am. I don't know if there's going to be any bad things to say. Usopp, I think he's been playing the comedy that we've seen really well. And they talk about how he's kind of like a jokester behind the scenes anyways. And he kind of is very fun and happy and outgoing. So like this works well with his character. Like apparently he just is Usopp IRL. And I'm excited to see him use like the sharpshooter Usopp, you know, the Usopp we all know to love, Sniper God Usopp. And to get him like, get that. I want to see the moments. And this is a good point. Usopp's ability to lie and convince people through his storytelling is going to be like an absolutely important piece with this. So that's going to be interesting too, to see like all the stories that he pulls out and how he does it in the show. So I'm excited for that too. Taz Skylar, this guy put in a lot of work for Sanji. All the kicks that he does, all the acrobatics is him. And there's a lot of his training that you see around. Like he should post a lot of stuff of his stuff. I think there's a couple of articles and maybe some videos about it as well. And I haven't looked into those yet, but I want to. And he put a lot of work into learning how to do like, I think it was like French foot fighting, Taekwondo. Okay, Taekwondo MMA fighters. And he learned how to cook under Jamie Oliver, which I didn't know. Arguably the nicest chef of all time, but that's pretty cool. So he literally immersed himself in being Sanji, which is, you love to hear it, you know? Morgan Davies as Kobe. I think he nails the Kobe look. I mean, the Helmeppo is so funny, but the Kobe look looks great. We only saw the clip of him where he's like, oh my God, pirates. And he's in the little, you know, bitch Kobe mode. You know what I mean? So I'm interested to see how his acting develops with Kobe's character too, because Kobe's character changes a lot over the year. over the seasons. So that's going to be the biggest key. But I think overall the look is pretty on point. Like so far the casting's been like premium. Hell Meppo. They got his butt chin and they give him the haircut. Arguably one of the largest character developments through all of One Piece. So we'll see how that goes, but we're probably not going to see anything past Arlong. I don't know how far into. It's supposed to be East Blue only, so I assume it's gonna kind of end at some point. So we'll have to figure that out. Same thing with Kobe as Helmeppo. How do they actually show the character development through their acting? That's going to be the selling point. That's a long-term goal. Garp. Now, this is going to be one of the issues that we're going to talk about. But the biggest issue that they're going to have with the One Piece universe is character design. I mean, he's got that older granddad, gray but stern, but maybe we'll have some fun. We haven't really seen him laugh and smile yet, so that'll be an interesting point. But he's got that, you know, seasoned vet vibe about him, right? He's got the seriousness to him, and they portray it so far. Costumes are on point. I'm excited for that. So we'll see. I can't really say much about the Garp thing. I think he's good. Axehand Morgan, played by Langley Kirkwood. I know nothing about the man, but he looks good. Again, the biggest issue that I'm having so far with a lot of the costumes or the characters is they're undersized. That's literally the only thing that I've been having a really big issue with. Chef Zeph, the man is perfect. This guy looks, I just can't wait to see him in action. That's all I gotta say. Get the peg-legged monster in there. Shanks, I want to see him serious. I want to get that anger in him. You know what I mean? That's what I want to see. As far as the like calm, drinking, fun-going Shanks, I think he nails it perfectly. Just from the looks that we see. We talked about this a little bit in like the first reaction, but the hat feels undersized, and someone had mentioned in the comments that yeah, it should be. It's not for him anymore. It hasn't. He's outgrown the purpose, and it's for Luffy for a reason. And I thought that was a really, really good shout. But I think it looks good. I mean, I think the casting, literally the casting so far has been great. Alvida, she's phenomenal. Buggy, I know there's been some up in the airs, but I like him a lot. And I think that they're doing great with the CGI, which we'll get to. Bahador, we haven't seen yet. We haven't seen the Cat Claw Man himself. I haven't seen any leaks or anything that show anything either. So that's going to be interesting to see. Arlong. So once again, the biggest problem is his size. Mihawk, the man is perfect for it. There's nothing else to say. The colored contacts could have been an issue, and I feel like depending on the show that they try to kind of adapt, it could go bad. But for him, it's like perfect. And I mean, you slap a picture of, like I said, you slap a picture of Mihawk up there, the man is spitting image. Stunning. It's great. So yeah, literally the biggest issue that we're going to run into, in my opinion, is the One Piece universe and character design. Just, it doesn't translate. I mean, we look at Kuma, like the man's body proportions are not human at all in any way, sense, or form, right? Like, that's going to be difficult to bring. And he is a very large, very big man. Like, you would almost need like the Mountain to play him, or somebody of the same sort. I mean, Gecko Moria. How do you get body proportions like this with an actor? There's going to be adjustments that need to be done, and that's where it's going to come from, right? I mean, you could CGI him at its fullest, but you're going to have to save budget for that when you get to that point. Like Alvida, right? Like, even her proportions are fucking out of whack. They're wonky. But they picked an actress that fits the role very well. That's what they're going to have to do. There's going to have to be a give or take somewhere, and especially when it comes to, you know, the world of One Piece. It's not the same, like they're not the same character, but it works very well, is Dr. Robotnik from Sonic. And shout out to my brother for bringing this up. Jim Carrey is such a wild actor and such a wild man that he's able to do what needs to be done for the adaptation to kind of work, right? Like, it's gonna come down to the actors and how they adapt the persona and the character and who they are on the screen, regardless of how they look. Next, I'm really excited for this, and it's the costumes. I don't know if you've noticed this, but in almost every scene in the trailers, their costumes are slightly different or very different. And there's a reason for that, and we never talked about it. All of the outfits and the costumes that are used in the show are all designed off of different like manga covers. The Hawaiian shirts that like Luffy wears and Usopp wears, like those are from a manga cover. Overalls with the red shirt from that trailer when he's outside the Barati. When he's drowning, yeah, like that's I want that fit for myself. Like that's a great fit. The red shirt, like the Body Improvement Club shirt. So like the costumes themselves come from a very specific twist that a lot of people wouldn't know if it wasn't like thrown in front of their face, but they would realize and go, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like and that's one of the biggest issues that I have with costumes is like, you don't want them to look like cosplayers. You want them to try to fit the show the best you can to make it feel organic. And a lot of shows are just like, well, this person wears one thing throughout the whole series, so they got to wear the exact same thing. And that creates this gap of reality that never really gets like touched in the show. And with this one, because they have different costumes that have inspiration from actual One Piece canon stuff, is brilliant. Like it's just a great way to do it, because now it adds a realism to it. It adds oh, he woke up and wore different clothing today. Oh, but here's the iconic one that we know. And that's where things are like, you can tell the detail that went into this. And like we've talked about this too, like Oda was very hands-on with this, to the point where if he didn't sign off on it, it would never come to light. So he seems to sell this to himself, and that's, to me, is good. Good. I'm just excited to watch it. I really am excited to see this, because it seems like this has gotten all the boxes checked. And if we're gonna talk about costumes, we have to talk about the Den Mushi, right? Like the Garp one with him doing the the loudspeaker, and then they showed Axe-Hand Morgan's. Have gotten a lot of comments on other platforms from people being like, "There's no redeeming this. It's how anyone that likes it, just you're blocked, unfollow." And it's just like, guys, I appreciate the fact that like you're passionate about it, but this is phenomenal. Like we're talking The Labyrinth, we're talking like Star Trek. Like these things are coming, and they're doing a job that like is just so good. Look at that, man. The eyes, perfect. The human teeth, yeah, it's creepy as shit, but like it should be. Think about what they are. They're a species in One Piece that sleep all day long. They eat food. They take the characteristics of the person that owns them or talks through them and shows that emotion. That's all they do, is that. That is their sole purpose in the show. A unique form of communication. Very, very well done. Like they grabbed it and they went with it, and it looks, in my opinion, phenomenal. Because what was the other thing? This? Like you take actual snails and slap some colors on it? Yes, that is my shout. All right, Den Mushi. Let me know what you think about it below, and if you're enjoying this, make sure to like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Now the CGI, this is where things get complicated, because the conversation could be had, is CGI ever not going to look out of place? And I think that obviously we've seen very, very good CGI with movies, especially over the past 3 or 4, 5, 10 years. For the most part, I think the CGI is pretty good, right? Like, great. I mean, that looks phenomenal to me, you know? Like the CK, I mean, like that looks great. Right? Like if I could compare the CGI in this to stuff, we've already talked about Pirates of the Caribbean, and I think that it's on par, if not better than especially the original Pirates, like the one that like kind of grabbed everyone's attention. But like The Mask, like those things that are very similar are these things. And I think that's, for the most part, they're nailing it on the head. The thing that I'm concerned about when it comes to the CGI is the fight sequences, right? Like the Gum Gum Gatling. This is going to be the iconic part of this whole season. Like this could be the, if everyone loves everything going right up to this point and they sandbag that, that's going to be a problem. But is it a little cartoony? Sure. But how is it not going to, right? How is it not gonna be? Like that's the issue that we have, is that will CGI ever not look out of place, especially when it comes to like an adaptation like this? That's my query for you guys to argue about with me in a bit. But I think they choose environments very well. And I think that with this kind of stuff, a darker environment is key. Like, they keep showing certain things in the dark, and they have the harder stuff, and they kind of hide it that way in a way. Like, it flushes in, which, I mean, it fits the story, but like, still, they have, okay, so they show Gum stuff in the daylight, right? That looks good. That looks okay. Like, that's good. That's great. Tell me that doesn't look like they put like a rubber mask on him and told him to do it. And they chose to make sure he was wearing a sneaker for the point when he kicks through the roof. Like, you know, like, it's phenomenal. The CGI that I really wanted to talk about. Buggy. Chop, chop, cannon! Honestly, very happy. Extremely excited for this. This is like, any of the devil fruit powers that they're showing is where I'm excited to see it. Like, I've already most of us have been through this. Most of us have watched it. We've already seen this. We're just excited to see it in new media. But I'm really interested in how they approach the different devil fruit powers. That's one of my biggest things that I'm excited for, because I really want to see that adaptation happen. Pirates, we've seen. Pirates have been around since the fucking Treasure Island, Muppets Treasure Island. Like, we have so many pirate related things. You know, yeah, they should do that part of it well. It's the anime part of it that's the problem. Did they invest what they needed to in the areas they needed to do it to make this successful enough regardless of it? And that's the question. So we'll see. We'll see. Now, one thing I wanted to look at is I found a article here that is like a compilation of the first reactions from critics. And we've got Crunchyroll people in here. We've got just random critics, comicbook.com people. So I just wanted to read through some of these and like look at what they're talking about. Well, the week just before its release, critics posted their live-action One Piece reviews. Early returns indicate the Netflix adaptation of the hit anime could break the anime to live-action curse. With the series cast, the VFX, and the pirate story getting showered with praise. Everything I just talked about are all W's right then and there. So, Megan Peters from comicbook.com revealed she had watched season 1 several times now, and that it's good. That good. Daniel Dockery on Crunchyroll, shout out to you. I read a lot of your articles and I love them. Can't say much. I'll be writing a ton about it later, but I've seen the live action One Piece in its entirety, and y'all, it's good. I'm okay with good, because every other live action's been ass. The king of Netflix shows. Having seen all 8 episodes of Netflix's upcoming One Piece and having minimal exposure to the source materials, I can say that this is the show fans of live action manga and or anime adaptation have wanted. This is the real deal. Dynamic camera work, which we talked about a while. Slick VFX, that was a big concern we just talked about. Slick VFX. So the CG, the video effects, like, they're doing a good job. Killer cast, we already agreed on that. And the understanding of story, how to write, direct, produce big budget episodic media, and now Stan Tall is remembered as the king of Netflix shows. Man, this is what we wanted to talk about. This is what we wanted to talk about. As someone who has become much more familiar with the anime in the past year, I have to say I was pleasantly surprised to see the series brought to life with so much love. The scale of this show is vast, and so much dedication was put into every aspect of it. The shining stars here are the show's cast. Straw Hat crew feel like they've been brought to life perfectly, especially Luffy. There's really not a bad thing in here. And obviously this isn't like in-depth reviews. This is just kind of like first impressions, but these are really good first impressions. And this is accurate. I mean, the vast scale of the show. I mean, think about how the show's been going for 20 plus years, and we're just getting to the real story of it. Like, this has all been built up until like where we're at now. And like, yeah, we're in a position where this has potential to go hard, and they're gonna have to do it quick because the actors and actresses are only gonna get older. So this either absolutely smashes or it flops altogether, and then they don't do any more of it. And so they're gonna have to pick up speed. I've seen Netflix's One Piece and can confirm it does the source material justice and then some. I think anime fans and newcomers to the Grand Line will be surprised at what the show has to offer. This is not Cowboy Bebop. Cannot stress that enough. And that is a great way to end it, because that is a very sensitive topic for a lot of people because we all thought that the Cowboy Bebop live action was gonna break the curse itself. So that might have been the straw that broke a lot of people, the lot of people's camels' backs, if you will. Man, I'm just excited to watch it. Truly, I'm just, it's a hand from when I'm recording this, 5 days away. Very close, very close. I am hyped for this. Let me know what you guys think below. What are your concerns? What are the things you're most excited about? And are you going to give it a shot? Because I know I am. I'm ready to sit down and just watch. Be healthy, stay healthy, keep lifting each other. Like, subscribe for all the weeby goodness. See you guys in the next one.